Welcome to Irresistible. You ignite your passion and purpose. I'm Karen Seltz, your host, also known as the Uncensored Self-Love Coach, and I'm so excited that you're here. We are going to dive into this topic that I like to call the illusion of confusion. So hang tight. I'm going to share with you how to recognize the illusion of confusion, how to know when you're in it, how to accept and allow all things so that you can transmute them into something else, how to develop and practice self-compassion and self-acceptance, how to create the life you really want. And I'm going to share with you 6 powerful questions that you can ask yourself to quickly shift you into being decisive and taking action that will get you what you want. So hang tight. I'm so excited you're here. So if you are new to me, there's really only 3 things that you need to know. The first thing is that if you feel like you have a higher calling and a higher purpose and you're like, oh gosh, I don't know what to do. I don't know if I can step into it. Just know I've been where you are, and I am so honored to walk alongside you on this path. Second thing you need to know is I consider my greatest superpower to be that of a divine mirror. Now, what do I mean by that? What I mean is that I have the ability to see you as the divine sees you, in your greatness, in your powers, to see your gifts and your talents, and to reflect that back to you until you can see it for yourself and say, oh my gosh, I see it now. Yes. And the third thing that you need to know about me is I am uncensored in my approach. I am willing to go wherever I'm called to go, to say whatever I'm called to say, and to do whatever I'm called to do to get you to a breakthrough. So I'm so delighted that you've joined me today. And let's dive in. So the reason I chose this topic is I've been sitting in this spiral of what do I do next? What do I do next? And considering pivoting the focus of my business. And then I've been caught in this, oh, I'm so confused. I don't know what to do. And I'm like, wait a minute, I've been here before. And I know that other people are there as well. So I thought I would dive in, call myself on my own crap, my own con, my own illusions, and let's dive in and learn together and transmute this crap, because who wants to be confused? Now, I've spent many, many, many years studying the ego. And what I mean by that is the spiritual ego, not the id ego, super ego, psychological part, but the ego in the spiritual sense is the part of us that wants us to feel separate. It wants us to feel safe. It's into protecting us, our body, survival, right? So one of the tactics the ego uses to make us feel separate is that of confusion, self-doubt, not trusting ourselves, like, I don't know what to do next, so I'm not going to do anything. So for me, this has led to a lot of paralyzation, a lot of self-beat up, because I'm like, oh my gosh, I've done so much work. How do I not know what to do next? And so I want to share with you that this is normal. It's a normal thing for the ego to use. And what I would like to offer you is some questions, some powerful questions to ask yourself the second you notice it, and how to get to that place where you're not resisting the not knowing. And when we look at ourselves, like our thoughts, our behaviors, our emotions, anytime we say, oh, I wish I were different, or I want to change, or that's not acceptable, how come I'm still doing that? We get into that pattern of self beat up or criticism, which is really a lack of self-acceptance, and it's resistance. And I spent many, many years in the 12-step community, and we had a saying, what we resist persists. So the more we resist whatever it is, being confused, the more confused we will be because we're resisting it. So I would say the first step to experiencing something different than you're experiencing now is to accept, oh my gosh, I am feeling confused at the moment. So I don't like to say I am anything that I don't identify with, if that makes sense, because I am are the two most powerful words when put together in the English language. Because after that, anything you put is what you are decreeing to the universe. So I don't want to say I am confused. I want to say I am experiencing confusion. Same thing with illness. I am experiencing illness or whatever it is, right? So the first thing is just noticing, okay, I am experiencing confusion. And I love this. This is really, really simple. Do you guys remember? I don't remember what it's called, but it was a public service announcement, a PSA. It was when you were on fire. It's called stop, drop, and roll. So if you're on fire, most people's tendency, their innate, whatever it is, what they're called to do is to run, which feeds the flame. It makes them be more on fire. So there were these PSAs probably in the 70s called stop, drop, and roll. So if you're on fire, stop, don't run, stop, because you're going to get more oxygen in it. Drop, fall down, and roll, which will put out the fire. So I adapted this to my own way. So when you notice you're on fire, you're thinking with the ego mind, I'm confused, I'm whatever, I feel bad about myself. Stop. Just stop right where you are because you noticed it. You can even give yourself a pat on the back because you noticed it. Yes. So stop, drop, because I promise you, you are in your head. You are either thinking about the past or the future. So the past is like depression, self-beat up, like, why did I do that? And the future is anxiety, worry, like, what's going to happen? You're not in the present moment. We'll just say that. So you stop. So you're going to drop from your head to your heart. You're going to drop. I like to say a prayer. So you can pray. I don't care who you pray to. Just pray, even to your higher self or the flying spaghetti monster. It doesn't matter. Just say a prayer and ask, like, what would you have me know? What would you have me do? What would you have me say and to whom? So what would you have me know? Because if we're confused, we're ignoring something. We're pretending not to know. So then what would you have me do? What would you have me say and to whom? Those are the questions I like to ask myself. And then the roll part is whatever you heard, you roll with it, you do it, you take inspired action. Now, when I was first learning this practice, it was really helpful for me to write it down. So I would write my questions for my higher power, my higher self, whatever. I would write it in one color, like black or blue. And then I would just wait until I heard something. And I would write the answer in a different color. I like red. And it was so interesting when I first started this process. I had a mentor who taught me this process. And whenever I was afraid I wasn't going to hear anything, guess what? I didn't hear anything. I was resisting hearing the voice of God, spirit, universe, my higher self. So I didn't hear it. And when I could relax into it and just know that my higher power is always a choice away, always one choice away. And one of the sayings I used to say to my clients a long time ago, and I still use it, is your higher power, your connection to your higher power is always 3 breaths away. Just 3 breaths. So when you slow down and take 3 slow, mindful breaths and invite spirit, universe, source in, it never fails. It won't leave you. She, he, it, whatever you want to call it, is always there. So when you do that, you just slow down, you become mindful, you go within and you ask, what would you have me do? What would you have me know? What would you have me say and to whom? Your higher power will answer. Now, for some of us, we will see a vision. Others of us, we will hear it. That was me. I am clairaudient. I hear the voice of spirit. So when you write it down, I don't know, it's like channeling. So you're just channeling, you're taking divine dictation. It's coming through you. You're allowing, you're accepting. And what comes out, like I hear my own voice, but it's not me. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I hear my voice in my head, but the quality of the voice, the things the voice says are definitely not me in this body, in this ego self. So try that and let me know how it goes, because what comes out is often so beautiful, and it's never a should, you have to. It's never like that. It's things like, you need do nothing. You are perfect, whole, and complete as you are. And then it reminds me of the truth of who I am, that I'm on a journey that has no distance. I'm already there. I'm at the destination. I just forgot. We become temporarily insane and we forget. And then we get confused, right? So I'm going to share a couple questions that you can ask yourself also when you get into this, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. All the crap that we tell ourselves. So here we go. I love this, the illusion of confusion, because it rhymes and it's cool. So question number 1, what am I pretending not to know? This is a great question because it's annoying, right? If someone asks you this, you're like, what the heck? I don't know. I just don't know. But if you think about it, you really do know, and you're ignoring your intuition. You're not trusting yourself. You're pretending not to know. You're in denial. So yeah, it's annoying to look at this stuff, but we're all here to grow. We're all here to evolve. We can have 2 choices. We can evolve or we can revolve. Which way do you want to go? Evolve, go up, ascend, or revolve? Keep revisiting the same lessons over and over and over. And what happens is when you don't get the lesson the first time, it comes back louder. If you don't get it the second time, it comes back louder and stronger and more severe, until like a lot of people will lose everything before they finally, it's like hit me over the head with a sledgehammer. I've been there. It's like we a lot of times get faced with a situation where everything's taken away before we recognize the truth that we already have everything. Like all this stuff out here is an illusion. We don't need it. We have everything we need within. So that happens. So what am I pretending not to know is question number 1. Question number 2 to ask yourself is, what do I really want? What do I really want? Now, a lot of times when I'm working with clients, they're so afraid to say it out loud, what they really want. They know there's this part of them inside. Like my thing for a long time was I wanted to do public speaking for 20 something, probably 30 years before I actually did any. But I was pretending I didn't know what to talk about. I was so afraid of failing, and I was so afraid of succeeding that I did nothing. I'm like, well, I don't know what to talk about. What do I have to contribute? What do I have that's valuable? So I would pretend that I didn't want to be a public speaker, that I had nothing to share. So when I really got clear, like, what do I really want? I want to make an impact. I want all the crappy choices that I made in my life to not have been for nothing. I want to share them with people without shame, without guilt, so that they can say, oh my gosh, I wasn't nearly as bad as she was. So I can tell the truth about myself. I want to make an impact. That's what I want. And that's why I want to do public speaking, right? So what do you really want? What do you want that you are afraid to say out loud? And I invite you to find somebody safe and have them question you, have them ask you, and go deeper. Like, why do you want that? Why is it important to you? What do you want to experience? Because underneath all of our wants and desires, there's usually some state, some emotion that we want to feel. So when you go deep and figure out your why, that will connect you. And you don't have to worry about the how you're going to do it. That's not the part right now. So just get clear on what it is that you want. And it's simply questioning yourself. All right, the next question. I love this question because when I'm in this pretending I don't know what I want and all this crap, I can ask myself, well, what do I know for sure? And another way to state this is, what do I know is true? So about the universe, about life, about myself. And when it comes back down to it, I think the main lesson for me is, what are the things about me that never, ever, ever change, no matter how many lifetimes I go through? It's not things like I'm a wife, a mother, a woman, a Democrat, Republican, Christian, whatever. It's none of that. Those are all labels, and those can change at any time. I've been all those things at one point in my life on the outside, but what is it about me that never changes? Here's some fundamental truths for me that I will state when I forget the truth of who I am. I am a precious and holy child of God. I am as I was created. I've never, ever changed. There's nothing I can do to make myself any more lovable. There's nothing I can do to make myself any less lovable. I am lovable. I am loving. I am loved forever. Things like that, those never change. Knowing that I am one with God, universe, spirit, knowing that I am one with everything and everybody, that never changes. So those are my fundamental truths. You get to look at, what are your fundamental truths? What are the things that never ever change? Because I promise you, when you are confused, you have forgotten those truths. That's it. And what I do when that happens is I call somebody. I'm like, oh my gosh, I've forgotten the truth of who I am. Could you remind me? Like, if I can't get out of it myself, I pick up the phone so fast. I have a very low tolerance for discomfort, spiritual discomfort especially. The next question is, what am I afraid of? So where are the places that you're stopping yourself? And what is it that you're really afraid of? Now, like I mentioned earlier, I was afraid of failure and success at the same time. Now, that doesn't even make sense, right? Like, pick one, stick to it. But no, I was afraid of both. What else am I afraid of? Looking stupid, not knowing the answers, being wrong. And it's all like childhood stuff. My brothers, I had two older brothers, and they would play tricks on me. And I developed this mistrust of anybody. I always thought people were trying to trick me. And sometimes they were painful lessons. Like, we had company one time, and I was probably 4. And we had horses at the time, and we had an electric fence, and all the kids were outside. The grown-ups were in the house. And my brother said, hey, Karen, grab the electric fence. It's not on. Well, I don't know if you guys have ever done this, but if you grab something that's electrified, it's really hard to let go. And it's like, and then finally the current, alternates and there's a break. But it's that moment. It's like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I'm going to die here or be stuck here forever. And it was extremely painful. So I grew up not trusting people, always thinking like people were trying to fool me or were out to get me. And then relying on my brain, my intellect, to keep me safe, instead of relying on my intuition, my gut, my connection with the divine. So you get to look at, what is it that you're afraid of, and confront it. Like, so what does it mean if I'm wrong? Like, who cares? I'll look stupid. People might reject me. People will look down on me, but so what? I'd rather be honest about it than now and say, you know what, I screwed up. I didn't have the answer. I thought I knew the answer, but I was wrong. And so what? We're all wrong a lot. So one of the axioms that I practice now is practice being wrong. And it still gets me, you guys. I've been at this forever, and it's still like, oh, I hate being wrong. But when I am wrong, I'm like, and I admit it, I'm like, yes, I did it. I did it. So it's like a muscle. We get to practice and have fun with it, right? The next question, this is a good one. So what is just one committed action step I could take right now, today, not tomorrow, today? What's one committed action step I could take right now? So you know where you want to go if you've done these steps, because you said, what do I really want? And just one tiny action step. You don't have to know the whole plan. One of my business mentors, she says this all the time, stay in the step you're in. Because if you go to the next 5 steps, you're going to create this mind F. I don't know if I can say that on there. Where you're going to like screw yourself over and get stuck in this analysis paralysis. And you don't want to do that. You want to be free. You want to be free. And what I always go for is the state of empty-headedness. Interesting as a blonde, right? So empty-headedness is a spiritual state where I am in constant communication with God, universe, spirit, asking, what would you have me do now? Okay, what would you have me do now? I do the thing. What would you have me do now? And I'm not deciding for myself. I don't have judgments or opinions when I'm in this state. I do when I'm listening to the ego. And when I'm listening to the ego, I'm also confused. Like, oh, should I do this or should I do that? Should I do this? Instead of just listening, okay. And when I'm in that state, and it comes and goes, let's just be honest. It comes and goes. I'm not at that place where I'm fully enlightened and awake yet. I don't know who is. It's not me, that's for sure. So when I'm in it, I have this state of absolute knowing. And I guess it's faith too, but it's a knowing like, yes. For example, when I was considering getting a divorce from my ex-husband, who is my children's dad, like part of me knew I wanted out, but I was afraid. I was married for 15 years and I was afraid. I'm like, I don't know if I can do it on my own, blah, 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 all the crap, right? And my spiritual mentor at the time said, just go within and ask, what would you have me do? So I'm like, okay, I'll do it. And I heard clearly, it was clear and it was loud, let him go, let him go. Like, okay. And I never, ever once questioned that decision after that point. Up until that point, I was like, okay, I could do this, I could do that. I could get divorced, but maybe this will happen and this and this. And this is my second divorce. And oh my gosh, I'm going to be alone the rest of my life. You know, the crappy thinking that we get into. So I never questioned it. And I had this peace about me that like I never second guessed myself. So that is a state that we can get to, the state of knowing. And I know you've been there. We've all been there at some point or another. We just knew. We knew that we knew that we knew. We didn't know how we knew, we just knew. So that's what's available to us when we achieve the state of empty-headedness and we're just spirit-led 100% of the time. Now that's a goal of mine, it's an aspiration. So what is one committed action step I can take right now that gets me toward that? Just one. It can be something that takes 5 minutes, but something that gets you out of your comfort zone and gets you closer to what you want. And the next thing is, how can I create accountability for the next 3 to 5 action steps? So you want to have like somebody you could talk to, or you can do it publicly. One time I declared publicly on a Facebook Live that I was committed to creating a committed monogamous relationship within 90 days. And I put it out there publicly because I wanted my ass on the line. And I did it. I mean, I don't know how I did it, but the universe said, okay, she's serious. She's ready to declare it publicly. The universe conspired and brought it to pass. So whether you have an accountability buddy, you declare it publicly, do something and make it time bound. So I'm committed to completing these 3 to 5 steps by this date. And make it short, like 1 week or 2 weeks, whatever, make it short. If it's more than that, scale back, do 1 to 2 steps. And once you finish those, then you're constantly asking, is this the next best step for me? What would you have me do? How many times am I going to say that until you get it? And then I guess that is the last question. That's the last question I have for you today on those. Well, very good. So I would love to hear your public declarations. What is it that you want? And what are you committed to doing What committed action steps are you inspired to take soon, today, or within the next week? So drop me a line. You can reach me at Karen@KarenSeltz.com and just let me know. And we'll hold one another accountable to our dreams because we can either evolve or revolve, and let's evolve together. So I want to switch gears really quickly and let you know I've been thinking about how I can better serve you. And I do have my free possibilities call that's available to you at any time. I open up 5 spots on my calendar every week for those. And who they're for are really women that know they have a higher calling and they are tired of ignoring it. And it keeps getting louder and louder and louder. And they're like, okay, I'm ready. But yet there's still the self-doubt that creeps in. There's still the confusion. There's still the, I don't know if I can do it. And I am here to walk alongside you on that journey. So if that's you, if like you're confused, but yet you know there's something that's calling you forward, then book a call with me and we will get clear on what it is that you really want, what's been holding you back up until now, why you want it, why it's important to you, and we'll make a plan to get you there. So if you know that you want that, like if you're ready, just book a call at connectwithkaren.us. Connectwithkaren.us. I have way too many websites, I guess. And my website is KarenSeltz.com. So if you want more information on me, just go there. And remember, if you're confused, to stop what you're doing. Stop. Drop from your head to your heart and ask those questions. What are they again? What would you have me do? What would you have me know? What would you have me say and to whom? And then roll with it. Roll with the information you get. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next week right here on Irresistible You.